Good morning. Good morning, Dave. I just saw you like a minute ago, but I'll say good morning again. Happy Saturday. Um, mm, that's all. It's Saturday. Uh, kind of the same good weather we've had. Maybe it's warmer today. I don't know, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. I have no deck to build. Maybe I'll do something else. Um, I don't know. The weather's, well, maybe it's a little humid yet for painting. We'll see. The deck will have to be painted at some point for sure, or stained or something. But I don't know if I'm ready to do that this weekend. We'll see. So I'm just going to wait for a little bit to get started. Like we do, maybe 5 minutes. Um, I will send out the invitation for the Zoom call. Um, uh, let's see. Saturday. Oh, today. Yeah, I'll send it today. So I'm gonna. I think I know most of the people that have been coming, but if you have been coming to class or watching these videos later, and you want to come to the Zoom call and you don't think I'm gonna know that you're coming, like you haven't put anything in the live chat or communicated with me via email or whatever, and you think I won't know, then just send me an email and I will make sure you get an invitation. I think, it's primarily Garfield Park people that are coming to these, but I know there's a few other folks too. Um, so let me know because I don't want to leave anybody out. And if you don't get one, um, I would say, yeah, if you don't get one by tonight, then I probably forgot you and you should send me an email and I will send an invitation. Because the way these things are, it can't be, I have the YouTube channel because I want people to be able to come or not come to class as they wish and not have to log in or, have a password or anything like that. But you don't really get that choice with Zoom. Zoom, you have to have a password and an invitation code and all that stuff. So um, people don't just randomly turn up. And as you've noticed, I don't know if you have noticed, but a couple times we have had people turn up uh, in the live chat. So clearly, anyone can watch this who wants to, and people that are logged in or have YouTube accounts can live chat. Um, I usually flag them because they're not usually very nice. uh, as you might expect, they're usually kids or whatever, just goofing around. Um, so you may or may not have seen that, but um, we don't want that with the Zoom call for sure. Here, it's really not that big of a deal, and I have chosen so far to keep these open and public so that anyone can turn up when they feel like it. Hopefully, we can continue to do that. It's only happened a couple of times. The YouTube is a big. It's the Wild West, but it's a big open space, and there's a lot out there that for people to find before they find you. But that doesn't mean that they won't eventually find us. And So if it becomes a problem, we'll probably just close these down to make them by invitation only, make them private. And I'd hate to do that because, again, I'm not really sure who's watching these. And I wouldn't want people to um, need a special, code or whatever to get in. But we'll see. We may have to do. I don't know. We'll hope for the best. We've made it this far, right? Since May, I think we've been doing this since May. Yeah. So so far so good. All right. So let's sit and breathe to get started. Shoulders back. Relax the neck. Check your posture here. A lot of times, even when we think we are sitting nice and upright, we are leaning forward. So you may actually need to lean back a little bit, and you may almost feel like you're leaning back, but you probably aren't. You're probably right where you need to be. It just feels a lot more upright than you're accustomed to. So nice straight back. Giving your body some room to expand through the chest, through the belly. Shoulders are low and relaxed. And we're moving into that even breath. So we're breathing in for about as many counts as we are breathing out. Maybe 4 or 6. Depends how deep you breathe or how fast you count. But don't make this um, stress at all or strain. Just make it as natural as you can. Keeping in mind you want kind of a deeper, maybe a little deeper breath than you might normally do. A lot of times when we start thinking about the breath, noticing the breath, it gets deeper on its own, right? Because we're trying to do a good job, right? We're trying to really, really get that breath going. Notice what's happening with the body. Hopefully, feeling a little more relaxed with each breath. And ideally, the belly or kind of this abdominal area is maybe lifting a little with the inhale. And then it's moving back a little bit with the exhale. Doesn't need to be a really exaggerated movement. But that lets you know that you're expanding further down into the body instead of holding the breath up high in the chest. So this is the same breath we're going to be using throughout the practice. Now it won't be maybe as noticeable or as pronounced, but we're trying to, again, keep it even, inhales and exhales. Keep it lower in the body. So if you lose that connection between the breath and the movement, come back to the breath. Focus on that. One more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then we're going to bring the chin down toward the chest. Just let it hang here. Lifting the chin up. Keep going. Head drops back. Back to center. Breath in. Moving head to the right. Back up and moving left. And back to center. Lean forward a little and then move around. One direction and then the other. Back up to your seat. Arms wide. Take a deep breath. Hands together on the exhale. Inhale. Arms wide. Exhale together. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands, gazing up. And then arms down by the side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. Lower. And one more, lifting up. Left hand down by your side, reach across with the right, or whichever one you want to start with. Switch sides. Back to your seat. Let's walk the hands out in front. Coming back, hands kind of behind you here, fingers pointing away from the body. And the arms are going to be behind you a little bit, so we're just leaning back, but not a huge amount, right? You don't want this to be uncomfortable or feel really awkward. It should feel kind of good. Squeezing the shoulders together. You might look up, let the head drop back if that feels okay on your neck. Coming back up to your seat. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. Moving back up, we're in tabletop. A few sets of cat-cow. Lowering the belly, lift the head. That's the inhale. Exhale. Drawing in. Head gaze, or head sort of drops down. Gaze is down at the mat. Move with the breath. It might be a lot, it might not be that much at all. It just depends really what's going on with your back today. And let's sit back into child's pose again. If you normally have the knees very close, let's bring them wider for this one. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Bending the knees a little. We can kind of walk it out. Stretching. Stepping the feet up. We're here in a fold. Breathe, relax. And then rise slowly, standing tall in your mountain. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the right. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Step back into downward dog. On an inhale, we're moving forward to high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift head and chest. Then lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Once more, lifting head and chest. Or if you want to, you can come all the way up. Upward dog. Ending up in downward dog. One more breath. On the exhale, stepping right foot up. Drop your knee on the left, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Moving forward on an inhale. We're in high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Inhale, lifting, head and chest. Lower. Once more, lifting up head and chest or all the way up, upward dog. Then downward dog. One more breath. On the exhale, stepping left foot up. Drop the knee on the right. Arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Back foot steps up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and out. Let's turn to the side so we're facing the mat. Arms, hands at the waist. We've got kind of a wide stance here. Deep breath. And then lean forward. You can release the hands down. Move around, whatever you want to do. And then rising back up. Breath in and breath out. So we're going to turn now. So we're facing the front of the mat. And we're going to set up for the warrior, right? So if you think about how we do warrior, a lot of times we turn from the side to here and we've got one foot out in front, right? Right foot out, left foot behind. One foot on either side of the mat. That's not a bad place to start, but we want to make that a little longer. So maybe step that front foot out a little bit more. We're going to turn the back foot a little. So we're kind of at that angle, and we're going to bend that right knee. And then you can kind of adjust as needed, right? However deep you want that warrior to be. Arms overhead, warrior one. Moving to warrior two. And then drop the hands, straighten the knee, and we're going to face the other way, right? Right? So we turned and we readjusted the feet a little bit. So now left knee is out in front, right leg is behind. Arms overhead. And then move to warrior two. And then drop the hands, straighten the knee, turn back to this side. So if you weren't really sure that you got that right, don't worry about it. You've probably done the warriors so many times that you kind of know where it is for you, where your feet should be, whatnot. If you're not sure, if it didn't feel quite right, just try your best with it. Don't worry. Hands at the waist again. Deep breath. Lean forward. Maybe hands down to the mat now. If you have a block, you could be resting on the block. That's fine. And then use that strength in the legs to help lift you up. Breath in and out. If you feel lightheaded, bring hands up over your head. And then let's walk the feet in a little bit. shoulder width apart for Malasana, yoga squat. We've got hands together. Take a breath. Bend the knees, lower down. Nice and upright with the body. If you have that block, you could rest it underneath. My block is too far away today. And then coming back up. Release the hands. We're going to turn again, this time not into warrior, but just that beginning part, right? So right foot out, left foot behind the width of the mat. Interlace the fingers. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. And breathe. You're kind of aiming that right shoulder for the right knee. If you have a bend in the knee, that's fine. And then let's rise up about halfway. We're going to keep the hands behind. Shift onto that right leg, the weight, so that we can lift up the left. And breathe. So if it's hard and you feel like you're losing your balance, just touch your foot back down. Right? Don't worry. Or bump into the wall. That's fine. Whatever you need. Right? If you want to release the hands, if that gives you a little more steadiness, that's fine. And then when you're done, step the foot back down. Back foot steps to the front, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and out. Turn around and left foot is out, right foot behind. Interlace the fingers. Shoulders back. Deep breath. Fold. And then lifting up, shifting here, and see how it feels on this side. It might be easier, it might be harder. Whatever it is, just see how it works. Keep your breath going. Don't get frustrated. And then set the foot down, back foot, steps to the front, arms overhead. Back to mountain. Breath in and out. Let's do a couple more balance. Standing on the left for tree, you could do a kickstand on the side. If you feel like your balance isn't too steady today, or maybe higher, right? Wherever you choose, make sure that right knee is rotated out, nice and upright with the body, steady gaze, steady breath, hands can stay at center. If you feel like you've got your balance pretty good, maybe extending arms. That's not required. It's kind of the last thing we do. Because believe me, if you're not feeling steady, your arms won't save you. It will just make you more top heavy and harder to balance. And then set the foot back down. We'll switch. So standing on the right, bringing in that left foot to whatever height we're at today. Steady here. And then see what is happening with the pose in general. Do you have that solid base so you can lift up the branches? Not every day are we going to do that. Some days everything is shaky. That's just how it is. And then set the foot back down, bicycle out the legs. And let's do our foot exercises, right, that we've done before. We're going to start coming up on the balls of the feet, maybe. Or maybe just lift the heels. Take your pick. So you can go higher, you can come back down. You can alternate, right? You can come up for a little bit and then go back down. This is just working on balance, but also foot strength, foot flexibility. If you're having a lot of trouble with it, bring the feet a little wider, right? Don't try to do it with feet close together. Give yourself a little space. It will definitely make it easier. And then set the feet back down. We're going to roll to the outer part of the foot. So be careful with this. If you've got weak ankles or you're prone to kind of twist your ankle, just go as far as feels secure for you with this. This one is pretty understandable. Everybody kind of gets this, right? Then we're going to set the foot down and we're moving to the inner part, right? This one feels harder, I think. You can go a little wider with the legs for this. Sometimes that helps because we can kind of then move the knees a little bit. So if you start with just trying to press the big toe in, that helps. And then just lift that outer part of the foot as much as possible. If it doesn't lift much, that's okay. And a lot of times our foot isn't that flexible when we begin doing these. And then set it down. Last one, we're coming up on the heel. So that may not work for you yet, so maybe you just lift up the toes and the balls of the feet. Or even just the toes. Right? Find your balance here. If you are up on the heels, you might not be able to stay still very well. You might have to move around. That's fine. A little movement here is good. And then set the feet down. Let's just move here. You can bicycle out the legs a little bit. So you can do those anytime. You don't have to, obviously if you don't, having shoes off is a good idea so you can see what you're doing. But you can do them seated, you can do them whatever you want to do. We're just working through flexibility and strength in the feet. So see your hands, your feet could be this flexible and this strong if you wanted them to be. Take a lot of work, and you probably don't need them to be quite as dexterous, but it would be nice if they were a little more flexible and strong. So we can work on it. Standing back up, top of the mat, arms overhead. Deep breath in, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, downward dog. Inhale, forward high plank. And then lower down. Head turns right, arms by your side. Relax and breathe. Head back to center. We're going to leave the arms by the side. Just rest the palms on the mat. Tops of the feet resting on the mat. We're going to lift up, head and chest, arms and legs. And keep breathing. Lower down, head turns left. Bring your head back to center. And then hands in front, setting up for Sphinx pose. Palms resting down, forearms resting. We've got the elbows close to the body, right underneath the shoulders. And then we're pressing down with the hands and the forearms, pulling back with the shoulders, and breathe. Feet are maybe a little wider on the mat, tops of the feet resting. If you want to go a little deeper with this, you can move into seal, right, which is just pressing down with the hands and lifting up. And then come on back down from wherever you are. Hands in front. You can rest one hand on top of the other or the forearms on top. Set the head down. Breathe. Toes in, heels out maybe. And let's get back to the breath just for a few moments here. Feeling the back and side body expanding with the breath. Right? The front body is compressed here. So we have to find other spaces to expand. And then we're moving back. Tabletop, child's pose. Tabletop, downward dog. Step the feet up, and then down to a seat on the mat, soles of the feet together. Take a deep breath, lean forward. Just coming as far as you have room, right? When things start to tighten up is where we want to stop and breathe. Moving back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath in, arms overhead, and then fold on the exhale. Moving back up. Bend the knee so that the foot is resting on the mat and you kind of have it hugged in closer to the body. And then we're lowering the right knee out. Right foot presses up by the thigh. Deep breath in here. And then we're leaning forward, reaching down towards the foot. So with all of these folds, you might have a little bend in the leg here, the straight leg. If you feel like your hamstrings are very tight, that can actually help you have a little more space to fold. If you try to force that knee down, you're going to limit how far you can fold, right? This is going to be your limit. So if you give yourself soft, maybe what we call soft knees, because you'll be able to fold a little more and not have so much strain on the hamstring. You don't want to do that, right? Nothing about yoga is strain. If you feel like you're struggling, I shouldn't say that. If you feel like you're struggling with a new pose, you may be, right? But ideally, we work to the place where there is some ease and not so much strain. But everything is strain when you first start. Sitting up tall, and then lower the left knee. Same thing here, except other leg. Breath in, reaching forward with the right, and fold. Back up. Legs out in front for one more fold. Deep breath in, fold forward. And then we're back up. Soles of the feet to the mat. Let's grab a hold of the toes. See, you thought we were going to roll right back, right? But we're not. Grab a hold of the toes or the tops of the feet. Lean back a little so you feel balanced. And then you can extend halfway, the whole way. Whatever works for you. And breathe. Bring the feet back down. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. And again, fold forward. Back up. And now, lowering down. We're rocking back. Resting on the mat. Take a few breaths. Getting ready for bridge. So you could always do a supported bridge here if you have a block. I'm not going to do that today, but you could do that anytime. Hands by your side, palms pressing down, heels close to the body, feet about hip width apart. And then we're going to press down, hands and feet, lift up the hips. You could interlace the fingers, drawing the shoulders underneath. And then release everything, rest back down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Take a few breaths. Bringing the knees back together. We're going to hug them in. Rock. Side to side a little bit. And then arms to a T or goalpost arms. We're going to start lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center and then moving knees to the left. Back to center with the knees. Hands by your side, extend the legs. Flex the feet so the soles of the feet are pressing up toward the sky. And then when you're ready, we'll start lowering down. You can do both legs at the same time, or you could do one leg at a time. Fast or slow, whatever you want. And then just find a way and a place where you feel comfortable for Shavasana. So resting on the mat, comfortable, feeling supported by the mat. Deep breaths, steady. Focusing on the breath, on this space. So when we focus on the breath, we bring ourselves into the moment. The breath is gone in a moment, right? There's always another breath, but it's not the same. Right? So our focus has to be in this very moment when we are noticing the breath. There's no room for anything else. Which is why we focus on the breath. I mean, we also focus on it because it's important and because getting a nice full breath is really helpful for the body and the practice. But ideally, really, it's to get our head in that space, not thinking about other things, not being distracted by all the noise in our head and around. So yoga is a practice of focus. We want to become strong, to become single-minded so that we can't be shifted. We aren't bothered by the noise and the confusion and the chaos that is all around us. We remain focused on the breath, on the internal self, that never changing, right? That peace. And I've had people say, I don't think I have that. I don't think I have that peace inside. I don't believe it, right? All I hear inside is the noise, my mind. You can ask yourself, who is noticing the mind? If you can notice the emotions, if you can notice the thoughts, who is that? Who's noticing that? That's yourself, right? So it's a subtle thing. It's a very quiet thing. You might think, oh, no, I don't have it. Well, you do. We all do, right? That's what's noticing. So when you think, oh, wow, I'm really angry. I feel so angry. Well, who's saying that? Who's feeling that? Who's noticing that? Right? That is that peace, that sense of calm, the self, the eternal self. And when we can reside in the self, we can notice our thoughts. Wow, that's a really dark thought. Wow, that's not helpful. Ooh, I'm feeling very negative today. Or, wow, I feel positive, having a lot of good thoughts. We notice we aren't our thoughts. We aren't our emotions, right? How could we be? They change all the time. We are the self. So if you don't feel like you have that, it's because you um, haven't noticed. It's helpful though. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to separate ourselves from the thoughts and the emotions. Those things are volatile. They change. They uh, can take you on a roller coaster ride. Um, and sometimes, we want to go there, right? We want to be immersed in our emotions and our thoughts. Um, but we need to know that that's not permanent. That's not necessary. We can jump back into that calm space. Right. So, I mean, and it sounds like it may sound like kind of an exotic thought, like sort of weird Eastern thought, but we have our own, we have our own words about this, right? We talk about people getting carried away. You're getting carried away with your emotions or your thoughts, right? What's getting carried away? The self. Right? We're identifying with the thoughts, the emotions. We forget that they are just passing through. So none of this is um, new. Right? This is all very old knowledge that we developed, all of us, every culture, from observation, from trial and error, right? Um, and again, with yoga, we are asked to make this work for us. Don't just believe me. Don't just say, oh, okay, try it, see what happens. Um, make it your own. Moving around a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet. Maybe stretching if you feel like it. And then we're going to make our way up to a seat, although I will say we're going to do meditation. So if you really want to just meditate laying on the mat, you can do that. You don't have to sit up if you don't feel like it. But if you do, we're going to bring hands together, deep breath in and out. Thank you for sharing yoga with me and for coming to your mat today, this Saturday. I hope you have a great weekend. Namaste. Okay, moving into meditation. So if you're on the mat and you want to stay there, great. If you are in a seat, um, you could get a cushion, you could be in a chair, whatever feels good for you today. As always, sitting upright, shoulders back, breathing. Noticing the pauses, the spaces between the thoughts, between the images. That's where our focus is. When you're ready, coming back to awareness, opening the eyes, maybe moving around a little bit. Okay, hopefully that was good. not too long. Hi, Sue and Sandra. Oh, Sandra's gone. Okay, well, she was here, but now she's gone. But she did figure out how to do live chat. I know she was struggling with that, so that's great. Okay, so there you go. Have a good weekend. I might see you on the Zoom call if you're going to be there on Sunday at 3. And if you can't make it then, we're going to have one Wednesday also. So hopefully one will suit you. All right. Enjoy the rest of the day and tomorrow. And I will be back for regular class on Monday morning. Bye-bye. You're welcome, Dave.